Podcast, WATP.
What I love about Opie is his insecurity and his arrogance. Those are two things that go together very well for WATP. And what he's going to do here is he's going to tell everyone all about the Dabbleverse, what it's about, what's going on. And it's surprising me he's even acknowledging this, because for so long, he never brought us up, WATP, me. We talked about him a ton, and I was booked on shows like the Anthony Cumia show because we talked about Opie, and he did a great job of ignoring it, pretending it didn't exist, and just doing his show. Well, that has all changed.
So now that he's going to give his opinion, I assume it's because he's been immersing himself, watching all of it, and has formed a very strong opinion. Oh, yeah.
He knows everything there is to know about the Dabbleverse.
I mean, my suggestion, considering I did have a massive radio career, I've said this to, well, I'm not going to tell you who I said this to. I dipped my toes in the Dabbleverse for a little bit, and then I realized that it's not for me. I don't want to spend my days turning on a live stream and just attacking other live streamers. I mean, I could do it from time to time. I'm good at it.
You serious?
Yeah. Opie thinks he's good at this. Now, I am going to prove to you, the reason why I played that clip first is because he tries. And I'm going to prove to you he's not good at it. He has no idea what he's doing. And he doesn't understand what the Dabbleverse is at all. He's not understanding what it is we do here. And it's funny when you hear guys like Gino Bisconti's another guy who, when he describes the Dabbleverse, he's just like, oh, yeah, you just go after everyone and just shit on everyone. And you just fucking mean to everyone. Like, no, we actually get together with our friends and laugh. To me, and everyone has a different perspective on things. But Adam, I think you and I would agree that when we're going to step into the Dabbleverse on WATP, or maybe we're doing this little piggy together or Point Dabble Point, I look forward to it because I'm going to laugh with my friends. And we're going to have a good time. And it's not about a malicious thing. We're not trying to ruin people's lives or hurt their careers. It's just the opposite. We want Stuttering John to go forever. We want Opie to keep broadcasting every morning.
And we spend a good deal of our time acting as like a NASCAR pit crew for these shows, telling them everything they need as quickly as possible to improve their show. And they take a lot of the advice from all of these haters.
They do. And Opie also has advice that he's doling out to people.
And I told this guy, I'm like, dude, you're really, really talented. I said, look, I get why you're in the Dabbleverse. I get why you're doing that. But I said, don't blow off just doing a regular show. You're really good at this. And I mean, he's sort of doing both, I guess.
Now, there's speculation on who Opie is talking about here. He's saying there's a guy in the Dabbleverse who I reached out to, I had a heart-to-heart with him, saying he's too good for the Dabbleverse, he needs to get out. He's giving advice to young streamers, which is great. Who do you think he's talking about here?
I really want it to be OJ.
Okay.
It's not, but I want it to be.
I think it's Cardiff. I think it's Cardiff. And I sent a note to Cardiff and Tukey today, and I said, who's Opie talking about? And Cardiff didn't think it was him, but then as we were digging into the conversations he's had with Opie, it does sound like it was him. Because Opie has had these conversations with Cardiff that he's talented and he shouldn't be doing this kind of thing. And he does know that Cardiff does the Reddit show, Subreddit Surfing, with Vinnie Paulino. And actually, I guess there's been talk of Opie going on that show. So that would make sense that Opie would go, well, there's a guy who's really talented. I told him not to be in the Dabbleverse, but he's not always in the Dabbleverse. He does other things too.
Yeah, that would be Cardiff.
I think he's talking about Cardiff. Now, Rocco was speculating that it could be Chad Sumac.
No.
Which I was like, well, let's think. This guy thought Ron the Waiter and Vic Henley were good, so
But what is
I
Chad's
don't think so.
non-Dabbleverse stuff? Is it?
I know. Right. I don't think that's the case.
But so he doesn't recognize that his show he did with Cardiff and Rocco was his best show in years? He recognizes their talent, but not that he shines with them. By the way, this is what Jim said to him in the tape you just reviewed with Blind Mike. He said, I don't think you understand what your role is. And by the way, if you're in a band or you're in a group of people and one of your partners says that, you fucking listen.
Yes.
You want to hear it and adapt because you believe in them and think they're talented.
Right. The rhythm guitarist who sings some harmonies on some choruses and stuff, does he want to be the lead singer? Probably. Does he want to be the lead guitarist? Maybe. But does he realize that the band is great with the role that he plays and enjoys that? Like that, you have to have that mindset. And that's what Norton was trying to say to Opie on that bonus show that we just did, where he's going, the show has shifted and evolved. It has turned into me and Anthony and what other comics in here all cracking wise, and people love it. People are enjoying it. And you're a part of that show, Opie. You're the one who drives the show. You keep it going. And Opie went, no, it surpassed me. It's not my show anymore. It's like, you idiots. You just got to understand what your role is and appreciate it when you're on a winning team.
He said, I invented this show in 94, which was the year
he did say that.
And Jim said, of course you did. I
Yeah,
know
very
you
generous.
did. I tell everyone that you did. Now, can you please just meet me here in this one point? And Opie said, fuck you. I have a feeling, and I don't like it.
That was very generous of Jim to respond immediately with, yes, Opie, this was all your idea. You're the brains behind the whole operation. You got it. All right, now, Patrick Melton's been taking some shots. He's been watching some clips, making some points about the Opster. And because Opie is ruled by the chat are his program directors now. So he has to respond to that. So he talks about Patrick Melton.
All right. Sheriff Dabbler, I'd like to hear your response to Patrick Melton discrediting your career, saying you accidentally fell into a radio. All right. I don't respond to any of those people. They've literally done nothing. They've literally done nothing to with their own careers, and they're attacking me. I do know this Melton guy. He looks like Earthquake. I like to call him Tugboat. I've never heard a minute of his show.
This is the problem with Opie and the way that he's responding to all of this. It's going to be never ending for him because he's calling Patrick Melton out. He doesn't have a career. He's never done anything. And we're going to hear more of that with everyone that he is addressing. Then he calls him out for being fat, but he's never heard the show. So I know that Patrick Melton's very successful. I know that he's getting the startup going with Moody, who's one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. And they're doing things that are beyond what most people in the Dabbleverse are doing. They're creating something. They're building a brand. I don't know if Melton's done that before in the past. I really don't know a lot about his career. I wouldn't assume he hasn't had a good career because Patrick Melton's a very smart guy. Like, putting on Hackamania, you have to have your shit together to do what he's doing. He just announced they're going to be live streaming it again this year. So he's putting together the whole live stream of this live show that he organizes and does all the work to bring all these podcasts together and do this event. Opie can do that. There's no way. Opie can't make a thumbnail. Opie is, and so the fact that he's like calling out people's career, like, you don't know what their career is. This is a Stuttering John parallel again, where it's just like, well, they don't have a career. Their career sucks.
The same Stuttering John parallel, how he goes, who the fuck are they to criticize me? I don't know them. I don't understand why that's a prerequisite to make fun of the show you're putting on. I'm allowed to review your show even if I don't know you personally. Did you know that? You've done it your entire career. All you're showing us right now, unfortunately, is that you have not processed that you're still not on the Opie and Anthony show because you're shitting on these people that are putting on festivals and having careers. And maybe you're right. Maybe it doesn't compare to the success you had in the 90s, but what you're doing now doesn't compare to the success you had in the 90s. It would really benefit you to spend some time focusing on why these people are working and why you're not.
The other part of this super chat from Sheriff Dabbler that he didn't get to. Also, Adam Bush on WATP, who you never did anything to, likes to pile on.
Right.
And Sheriff Dabbler knows what he's doing here. Like, because guys like Opie feel like, I don't even know that guy. I've never even talked about him. What's he doing? You know, it's just like, it has nothing to do with anything. It's neither here nor there.
But when he hangs up on an actress that he's interviewing,
yep,
you know, even though he doesn't know her, he's allowed to do it because it's funny when he does it.
Oh, there is so much hypocrisy. I got to get a T-shirt that talks about some type of authority about hypocrisy and wear it on the show, because I just came up with that idea. No one's ever thought of that before. Because Opie is a hypocrite, and especially when he talks about me, I'm going to address what he says about me on here. It's like all the shit that he did is his complaints about me, which is incredible. But let's get back into some more career talk.
And out of nowhere, because I think what happens is these guys don't have a lot of material, so the easiest thing to do is attack somebody. So he's attacking me. I did nothing to the guy. I don't know the guy. I've never watched his shit. And they're attacking me and my stupid career. And the fact is, like, what career do you have?
All right. Now, for Opie to say, well, he doesn't have any material. Patrick Melton goes on for 5-6 hours straight on a live stream by himself, and there's never a lull. It just goes. I didn't say never a lull. It's never a lull. Just in case people are taking that out of context. So the idea that Opie's like, yeah, these guys have nothing to talk about. No. You are the content. Whether you like it or not, you're interesting. People are interested in you. People want to talk about you. If Patrick went on and talked about a football team, you wouldn't say he's got no content. All he talks about is the Las Vegas Raiders. No, that is content. That's what people want to talk about. So this whole notion that's just like, oh, you're just shitting on people because you have nothing else to do, that's dead in the water to me. That's not a starting place for an argument.
Patrick Melton was ranting about Aaron the other night, and I was trying to fuck with him a little bit, so I sent him a kind of distracting super chat. And he read it and moved from it so quickly. Do you know why, Opie? Because he was in the middle of saying something.
Right.
And he didn't want to be interrupted. When you have something to say, it's almost impossible to derail someone's show.
Isn't that funny that Opie is the guy who has no prep, goes on the show, reads the chat, gets annoyed by the chat, yells at the chat, and complains about other people not having content or things to talk about.
Rob Saul, if you don't want to be accused of having inappropriate relationships with dogs, stop having them on your lap while you broadcast.
Take a break from that.
If you truly don't want to talk about Anthony, don't put up the super chat. And don't tell me that this rich, successful person that wouldn't, dare to do Cardiff's live stream doesn't need the $2. Which one is it? For $2, right, you're talking about this thing you've put a hard line about that you don't want to talk about, but suddenly it's all up for grabs.
The other thing, too, about him complaining about these guys have nothing to talk about, so they have to bring up Opie. I was watching some of his Unleashed stuff where he just walks around. He talks to strangers on the street in Manhattan. I would much rather watch someone with prepared material commenting about other podcasters and showing clips and analyzing it than watch a guy walk up to people whose English is not their first language and scream at them and harass them. And none of them enjoy it. No one's going like, oh, am I on the Opie show? This is great. They're all just like, what? What do you want? What are we talking about?
I would like to hear Opie talking about Anthony. I'd like to hear his Monday morning wrap-up of Anthony's Sunday show. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
He said he might do that on MLC. He won't.
I hope he does, because he keeps talking about how easy it is. And Tom Myers is talking about how easy it is. Well, show us. Please. It's been years. Show us how easy anger is.
And I'm not saying that this isn't easy. What I do, this format that we've picked for Who Are These Podcasts, is certainly, as Patrick Melton calls it, a cheat code. It is very easy to find people who suck at this, play clips, and laugh at them. But it's amazing that Opie can't do it, Tom Myers can't do it, Chad can't do it. Like, it is a skill. Kevin Brennan can't do it.
You're leaving out the crucial part that, unfortunately, is their tragic flaw. You have to be passionate about it still. Yeah. You have to somehow relate or care or be self-aware enough to find some common ground. And feels something. But every time this guy has any kind of feeling at all, it's all or nothing. All of these guys are that way. Chad, even Donkey Lips, Aaron, John, you can say anything about anybody, but when it's about them, everything changes.
And it's time for Opie to start big timing some people here.
Mm-hmm.
For real, what do you have to show for it? You're not going to buy a second house. You're going to like be struggling with your bills. You're not going to do anything impressive. And these people, they attack people like myself that actually had a career.
All right, do me a favor. Nobody tell Opie about my second house, because that'll kind of crush this whole argument if you explain that, some of these guys in the Dabbleverse do get a second house and are
Well, when
successful.
he hears where it is, he'll feel better.
That's true. Yeah, it's fuck off. All right, this is so Opie's big timing everyone. He's got the better career. He's got more going on. Again, he doesn't know anything. That's the problem with going after people you know nothing about. Like you said, he's not passionate about it. He's not interested in it. So he doesn't know that Patrick Mountain has his own business, that he's startup that is already growing and has investors. And he doesn't know that I have a second house. And
always so shocked. And it's like that thing about basic human people that the cop was trying to teach John on that stop, which was maybe just treat people like you give a shit. Maybe just assume they have something to offer, even if you don't see it at first, even if they're wearing a filter. Maybe just treat people the way you would want to be treated. You keep talking about this respect that you've earned, that you deserve. However, you accidentally referred to it in the past tense in that last little rant. And I don't know if you noticed that. You said you had a career. That's right. You did. You had one. So now it's time for a new one.
And it's not like he was a professional athlete. Professional athletes can't play baseball into their 40s. That's fine. And then they move to the broadcast booth, or they start up a show, or they get on ESPN, or whatever they do. But they have, another career after that. But they have an excuse. Radio people can be on the radio. Rich Limbaugh died on the radio. There's a lot of people who never leave that chair. And it's very possible to do.
Howard Stern might have. We don't know.
That's a good point. We could be listening to AI. Could you imagine if AI Howard is actually going to Chat GPT to write AI scripts, and then AI Howard is right? That actually makes a lot of sense now.
It's a more plausible explanation than what's happening right now.
I think that's what's happening.
And you did point out, which I forget with Opie, is that I'm wondering, how dare he try and come off as mysterious? How dare he ask Jim to just reveal every single part of his sexuality? But then when you ask him what his favorite song is, he's like, I don't know you well enough. He thinks he's Howard. He thinks he's moody and mysterious. He thinks he's we're trying to figure him out. Your name is Opie. It's an accessible name. It's not this CEO who's, tortured. You're not that guy.
No. So this is right out of his playbook. We already touched on this a little bit.
But it is weird. It's people I've never met that I don't watch their stuff. I don't care about their stuff, and they have to attack me. I find it incredibly strange.
Now, this was actually brought up during the Jim Norton versus Opie fight that we covered on the bonus show yesterday, because Opie's making this point, they never even met me and they're ripping on me. And Opie brought up to Jim Norton, Gavin McInnes. He goes, Anthony, he just gets everyone against me. I've never even met Gavin McInnes, and he's talking shit about me. And Jim goes, well, what's he talking about? Your content or your personal life? Or you personally? And Opie goes, well, he's talking about my content. He's like, well, Gavin can do that. Why wouldn't he? Gavin has every right to talk about you. If we're not prying into where his kids go to school, we're talking about the show that he puts on and making fun of that. Opie has this thing where it's you've never even met me. How can you comment on me? You're a public figure. That's exactly how that works.
And I know I'm probably reaching here, but it's just funny that both Opie and John claim to be these, totally tolerant of all races and religions and woke kind of people, but they preach that there are evil Jews working behind the scenes, convincing people to not hire them, to not like them, and literally to not laugh at them in the chat. Anything that's bad that comes to any of them is because of these secret people, like, and he names them. You know, you can't do that and call other people anti-Semitic. You can't call the mechanic, you know, and make ice jokes and then say other people are intolerant. What do you think that is? What did you just say? Why is it never ever your responsibility? And why am I saying something to you that Jim Norton said like how many years ago?
That was 10 years ago. He talked about taking responsibility, and Opie always does this cop-out thing. He goes, look, and I know I have my faults, but it's always, I know this, but, and it's never anything specific that he does wrong. He just throws out that blanketed, I know I'm not perfect thing, and then immediately talks about how everyone else needs to change. And it's not his fault. Things are happening to him. The other thing he keeps saying in this, and we just heard on that clip, he keeps talking about how strange and weird things are. It's so, I've never even met these people. It's so weird. Opie, I learned this from watching you. This is Jocktober. You did this bit on your show for years. How do you think this is weird? You're watching other broadcasters who do what you do and calling them out for sucking. It's not weird. It's literally your best bit that you ever did on the Opie and Anthony show, in my opinion.
We talk about how Stuttering John wouldn't handle it if somebody came up to him and asked him a random intrusive question. He'd be like, excuse me, like, what the fuck? Like,
yep.
This guy, like, so when you hung up on that person and everybody laughed, what do you think they were thinking on the other end of the phone? If someone hung up on you now, you'd rant about it for 20 minutes about how rude they were, how disrespectful it was. Like, why is it always different when it comes to you? These people are changing in very uncomfortable ways.
Yeah, Frank Pellegrino, Chrissy Mayer's husband, was in the chat on this episode and puts in there something like, I don't know why you're mad at Chrissy. She was just fucking around and you're just not playing along. You forgot how to roll with the punches. And of course, Opie, rather than like realizing like, yeah, I should probably just lighten up, is just going, oh, is that what I need to roll with the punch? You know, he never fucking learns. It's like,
I've been rolling with the punches. You don't roll with. Oh,
yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, so this is funny. So Opie's saying that if it's me or Melton or whoever, Adam Bush, calling Opie out, he doesn't care because we're nobodies with no career. But it's not like we're the big guys.
You know, if Howard Stern's attacking me, damn. You know, if Joe Rogan's attacking me, damn. Bill Burr, damn. I was in that arena with all those people. Will I ever be in that arena again? I don't think so, to be honest with you. I do this. I have fun doing it. I like doing it.
Now, I have to tell you, Opie, you're saying like if Bill Burr talks shit about you or Joe Rogan, you'd be upset about that? Oh, it's worse than that. They don't think about you. Howard Stern doesn't give a thought to Greg Opie Hughes from the Opie and Anthony show. Everyone has moved on. And I think it's funny that he's just like, man, if I heard something like Bill Burr said about me, Bill Burr hasn't given a thought about you in years.
The disconnect right there was insane. And the fact that he thinks we don't see it is delusional. He just said he's not in the arena anymore. So why would they be talking about you? And if you're not in that arena, Opie, where are you?
Yeah,
Say hello to Cardiff and Tukey and OJ
Welcome
and
to
get
the
to know them.
Dabbleverse.
Welcome to the Dabbleverse.
That's who's in your chat right now, giving you $20 and $10 at a time. So welcome. Hope you enjoy your time here. But no, none of us are having any type of effect on Opie.
You know, none of those guys have done anything impressive to the point where their shots at me hurt, if you want to know the truth.
If you want to know the truth, it's such a tell from Opie, and this goes back 10 years, probably longer than that, but it's just fresh in my mind because we did the bonus show yesterday. But Opie's got some tells. If you want to know the truth, is one of the best ones. He tags that on to sentences when I know that he knows that it's not the truth. Because that's what liars say. Liars say things like, I'm not even lying right now. I'm like, well, no one said you were. All right. This is great. So a chatter says that I used to work with Opie at WCMF here in Rochester. 96.5, the home of rock and roll. Opie, of course, that's where he met Brother Weeze, and it really gave him his direction in radio and his career. And so this gets brought up.
Did you know that Carl worked in the mailroom for Brother Weeze when you were there? He said that he really looked up to you, but you would never make eye contact. I have no idea. I have no idea. What? These people are so weird.
All right. again, with the weird stuff, these people are so weird. I think and I'll play some more clips. Help me out. I think he's referring to me specifically because he's believing this chat that I have like this vendetta against him because I used to work with him at CMF and he wouldn't give me the time of day. I think that's what he's saying. I could be wrong about that. But what's great about this, there's a few things that are great about this. This is a free chat that he pulled up and decided to read. So they're saying, like, there's a reason why Carl from Rochester goes after Opie. You guys used to work together and you weren't cool to him. Now, Opie was 23 when he worked at WCMF, I'm guessing, somewhere around there. I was 9 when Opie was 23. I most certainly was not working at a radio station. And also, I think it was my buddy Drew Lane who pointed out, radio stations don't have mailroom employees. There isn't someone dedicated to the mailroom. That's not a full-time job. You know what I mean? Like you'd have people who handled that. Maybe they also work in HR. Or I don't know.
You're not rolling with a shopping cart, throwing mail at everybody's desk.
So the 1980s. It's not like Big with Tom Hanks from the 80s. Like that kind of company that we're working for here.
The Howard Stern show had John sorting the mail. So I'm going to assume.
Yeah. So Brother Weeze probably didn't have a guy dedicated.
Again, if you're his enemy and he hates you and you're ragging on him and he wants you to go away and somebody's like, you both have the same mentor. He's from Rochester. There's a connection. Instead of being like, there is? What if I could fucking have this guy on and we could talk about just our connection? Maybe I can make friends. He doesn't want that. He didn't want to be friends with Jim, doesn't want to be friends with any of these people, doesn't want to. I don't know what he wants. I don't know why he's doing the show.
Insecurity. That is the theme of this whole thing. Opie is so insecure, and he knows it. That's why he'll never admit he's ever watched me. He'll never admit he's ever watched Patrick Melton. He's so insecure, he would never talk to me. He would never have me on his show. He'd never come on this show. Because he knows he sucks.
But that's
He's
how you know not to believe in a politician when they say, do not vote for this bill. It is evil. I did not read it, and I don't want to.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to get a second opinion maybe.
Yeah.
I mean.
My people told me, and I believe them. So, yeah, I think he's referring to me here.
When I worked at the same station as Brother Weeze, I was a plebe. I wouldn't make eye contact. These people are delusional.
Yeah. So I think he's believing what this chatter is saying and saying I'm delusional for thinking that Opie was big timing me at CMF. That's how I'm interpreting this. I could be wrong. But then he goes on to explain why I am garbage. And I have a lot of thoughts about this.
One big reason why I don't respect, Carl, and I truly don't. I don't watch or listen to any of his stuff, but I get the drift. Trust me. When I see the videos pop up and I decide not to click on them, I get the drift. And the one thing,
I'm sorry, that's so funny right there. We watched a little bit of this on the bonus show yesterday because it had just come out, and I watched it fresh on the show. But that is so telling right there. If you're wondering if WTP is in Opie's algorithm, it most certainly is. And so he's getting the drift by reading the thumbnail. So he knows what my show is because he reads the thumbnail. I'm not buying that. I bet he's curious. And
no, I don't trust people who only read the headlines. That's not an informed reader.
That's not an informed reader, but okay.
The one thing that makes him insanely bad at this and insanely dishonest
Please explain.
is that he doesn't take any shots at Anthony whatsoever. That's why you're a piece of garbage. The amount of material, if your whole show is to go after other people trying to do this, the amount of material that you have on Anthony and you avoid all of it, that means you're garbage. Absolute garbage.
All right. Can I respond?
Please.
Opie says I'm garbage because I haven't done an episode about the Anthony Cumia show, a show that I, A, enjoy, and B, am friends with the host of. I'm trying to remember the time that they did a Jocktober on Brother Weeze. I'm trying to remember the time that Opie was clowning Weeze's morning show and why it sucked. Oh, wait, Opie never did that. Because Opie liked Brother Weeze, both personally and professionally, and enjoyed his show, and therefore never made fun of it on his show. So he's saying that I'm garbage and he has no respect for me for doing the exact same thing that Opie did when he was on top of the world doing Jocktober. And he had to find an angle. Why do I not like Carl? I've never listened to him. I've never seen him. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what his show format is. Well, he knows what the show format is, but he has to pretend he doesn't know anything about it. But he also has to hate me, and he has to have a good reason for it. And the good reason is I've never made fun of Anthony Cumia. I've never made fun of Tim Dillon. I've never made fun of No Agenda, Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak. I love that show. I listen to every episode. I don't make fun of Drew Lane's show. I'm friends with Drew. I like his show. I listen to every episode. I don't have to make fun of everything. There's things that I enjoy that I don't make fun of. Why would I?
There's also a key thing here that I think Opie is missing, because whether you have or not, I know I have and others have certainly taken shots or just made jokes or made Anthony the butt of certain things when it comes to the tropes that he's related to. Even last night when we were talking about John, things would come up, and the only difference is he laughs and moves on. He doesn't do an emergency show about, taking down every point that was made. He just laughs and moves on. But when people laugh and move on about you, just like John, it's a betrayal.
Yeah.
And you have to rebut it.
Anthony rolls with everything. I was watching you guys last night when I got home from rehearsal, and there's super chats coming in that are bringing stuff up, and Anthony didn't bail and get pissed off that people are pulling up super chats. He laughs it off and he moves on because he's confident. He's not insecure. Opie is insecure.
I've made it clear to Anthony that we don't share so many points of view and that I disagree with him on so many things, and he's, as far as I can tell, excited by it. He's not threatened by it. He's not like,
he respects
you did that
yeah.
show, then we can't ever be on the same show because you were friends with my ex. And that's still what you're doing, Opie. You haven't gotten over the breakup.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony literally reached out to me and said, I want to do a show with Adam Bush. He respects what you do. He enjoys what you do. And it's like, both can be true.
At the end of the day, imagine if somebody learned something or actually changed their point of view, Opie. Could you fucking imagine?
By the way, Opie's protege is here. Cardiff Electric in the building. What's up, Cardiff? Uh-oh, you're muted, my friend. I can't hear you.
He's being groomed by Opie.
He is. Oh, now there's no audio.
He doesn't want you talking
out.
to us.
You gotta
look
Opie
good to your friend
sabotaging
now.
this right now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Keep working on it over there. I got another clip. This is how to be successful in the Dabbleverse. And I can't think of someone more fitting to let us know how to be successful than one Greg Opie Hughes.
Oh, how does one go about being successful in the Dabbleverse? Well, you get a live stream and you make it look very, very professional. And that will hide the fact that you don't have much content. And then you just go down a laundry list of other people live streaming and you find shit about them and beat the crap out of them. That's it. That's the Dabbleverse.
Opie has no clue what he's talking about. He literally thinks that it's all about prying into people's. I mean, this is obviously the Kevin Brennan, Chad Zumach way to do it. Well, not all that successful. He literally thinks it's just you find out dirt about people and then you go on and you spill that and you say what an awful person they are. It's like, no. The successful shows, and we could all name them, in the Dabbleverse, find clips of shows, play them, and then do a great job of analyzing it, riffing on it, making jokes about it. That's what the Dabbleverse is. Opie can't understand that at all.
Testing.
Hey, Cardiff, what's up, buddy?
Oh, okay, good. Hello, Adam Bush. Hello, Carl.
Hello, Cardiff.
Good to see you, man. I'm surprised you're on during this segment.
Well, I didn't think you'd bring me on so quickly.
Okay, well, I didn't
laugh
know.
from the backstage here.
All right, I can take you off if you want.
No,
if make you more
I'll
comfortable.
be here again. The Opie point.
Okay,
if you don't want your sensei to see you hanging out with us, we understand.
And definitely don't watch Opie and Opie this Friday morning for the return of Tukey and Cardiff. I don't want all these 1,000 people that are watching right now, Carl, to be there Friday morning when Cardiff and Tukey return to Opie in the morning.
Holy shit, is that confirmed?
It's confirmed. That's
Wow.
a fact, Jack.
Wow. Breaking news right here on WATP. This is exciting.
Wow.
This is very exciting. Congratulations, Cardiff, getting back on with Opie. Because he's all in on the Dabbleverse now. Like, I can't even believe how long has it been going on that he even acknowledges the Dabbleverse? For the longest time, Opie wouldn't acknowledge anyone's existence. And now it's like the main content on his show. It's crazy. I love it.
This Friday will be all sports talk.
Good. Yeah, as it should be. So you just heard right there Opie explaining how to be successful. You have to go after people really hard in the paint and show no mercy. And so he goes on to talk about how the Dabbleverse came to be.
Oh.
And and the funny thing is, the whole concept is based on one of our huge benchmark bits from the Opie and Anthony show, and that would be Jocktober. They're all just doing Jocktober.
Right.
And even when we were doing Opie and Anthony, we knew that Jocktober was a benchmark bit, but you couldn't do it like all year long. By the end of October, we were running out of steam as far as that bit went.
Well, it sounds like a you problem.
It's not true. I wanted Jocktober all year long.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah.
And also, I do 2 days a week.
Yeah.
The WTP is twice a week. It's not a 5-day-a-week show where that's all we're doing is the same shit over and over again. Uh-oh, we lost Adam now.
Finally. Just the boys.
now we got the crew here. So it's so funny that Opie knows that the Dabbleverse exists because of Jocktober, because I've talked about that was my inspiration for starting Who Are These Podcasts. But for some reason, we're doing it wrong. When he did it the right way. And now all of these shows, the Dabbleverse, do it the wrong way. I've talked about it before. Opie will say, well, you got to sprinkle in other bits and do other stuff. It's like, yeah, okay. But he gets locked in on what percentage of the time we're talking about other podcasts or doing other things. Like, yeah, I don't talk about intervention from last night. Sorry. I just don't have that segment on the show.
My 600-pound life. That'd be some good talk.
I would do that. Actually,
I'm in. I'll do that
Yes.
show with you. Yes.
Oh my gosh, my wife watches every episode, and I just find myself going, "What is going on over here? What the fuck?"
Why do they take their shoes off every time they get on the scale?
It doesn't matter. The pound and a half, it's not going to matter. All right. So yeah, Opie understands that it is Jocktober, but it's still wrong, and he still doesn't like it, even though this was his brainchild. He takes credit for Jocktober, but doesn't like the Dabbleverse for some reason. So then we get into Chrissy Mayer talk, because this gets brought up in his chat. And again, Chrissy Mayer is the same as all of us. He doesn't know anything about her, but knows he doesn't like her and knows why.
All I know, Frank, about your wife is that out of nowhere, she started taking dumb shots at me because she worked for Anthony. I don't respect that, if you want to know the truth. I've never met her. I don't know anything about her. I know she's trying to be a comedian, but when I look at comedians that are doing it out there, her name doesn't pop up on any of the lists.
Oh, I didn't see that. Where is that list? Does Blind Mike curate that list of comedians that are doing it out there?
I believe he does. He's who I would go to for that list, Carl.
Right. I'm not familiar with that. So Opie acts like he's got his finger on the pulse when also being oblivious to everything. He's like, I've never seen Chrissy Mayer. I don't know what she does. I don't know what's going on. Chrissy Mayer was just on the West Coast. You might have seen her on the Adam Carolla show. She was also with Jamie Kennedy on I Hate to Break It to You.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of funny. But this whole thing, I don't respect that if you want to know the truth. Doesn't even know what he's saying. He's just saying he doesn't like people who clown him, and he's got to make up excuses for her. No one even knows who she is as a comic. Like, she's doing much better than you at all of this, Opie. It's not even debatable. He even brings up at some point, he's like, does all she do is talk about my show? It's like, no. She does Simpcast on Sundays. She does her interview shows. She gets on with Keanu, and they look at fashion on the streets of London. Like, there's a lot of things going on here, but Opie doesn't do any research and just bashes. It just goes. And this is the opposite of what the Dabbleverse should be, by the way. It's just blindly going after people you know nothing about. It's not sustainable.
Sounds fun though.
Yeah, it
I
does.
know it is fun, but you're not going to grow an audience with that because the audience just goes, "Wait, is that what's going on?" And then they turn it over and they go, "Oh, that person's full of shit. Well, I'll stop listening to them."
Well, the Dabbleverse is very much in the present, looking at the past. and looking at the present. And these people are just stuck in the past. And he keeps using the words has a career or had a career. You know, when you're trying to make your right point, you had a career. But when you're comparing yourself to Chrissy Mayer, suddenly you have a career. You had one. You're comparing what you used to have with what somebody now has. And now you have nothing. And somebody with something has more. I don't know why that's so hard for you to understand, Opie.
All right,
I don't know why I feel like snapping my fingers after Adam speaks something.
Yeah, he's got a good cadence to it. Here's one more clip I have on here. The question comes in, how do you feel about everybody passing you by? And so rather than Opie acknowledge that his career is not going well, he has to bring everyone else down. This is the proverbial crab in the bucket response to this.
Do you feel embarrassed that your peers passed you by? No one has really done anything that great since Opie and Anthony Grant. I mean, that's the reality. You know, Anthony is now on WABC on Sunday nights, one day away. That's not impressive. You know, Jim Norton should be way bigger than he is. What he's doing isn't impressive either. There's nothing impressive about it. You want to talk about peers passing you by? Every single comedian has passed Jim Norton by that did the Opie and Anthony show. I say every single one of them has a bigger career than Jim Norton. See, this is the real stuff. This is the honest stuff. Sam Roberts, not impressive. Just rotting in a seat at SiriusXM. Is he doing better than I am? Oh, yes, he is. Is it impressive? Oh, no, it's not.
The question was, are you embarrassed by all of your peers passing you by? And he goes, what are you talking about? And then he goes on to list how every single person has passed him by and has a better career than him, but then tries to say it's not impressive. I set up this entire segment by playing the clip where Opie goes, anyone can do this. I'm very good at this type of thing that people do in the Dabbleverse. This is the opposite of good.
He also shaved a few of Sam Roberts' credits off there. He just kind of do a lot of stuff for the WWE. It's kinda, yeah,
for sure. It's ridiculous that he's acting like Sam is not doing anything. Sam has the job that Opie wants on the morning show host on SiriusXM. But also just this idea that he thinks he's good at clowning people or goofing on people like what the Dabbleverse is. And his only thing is to say, like, it's not impressive. Nobody cares. That's not a good show. That's not a good show format. No one's tuning in for you to just say Jim Norton's not as good of a comic as, or is not as big of a comic as Bill Burr. Okay. Great. Good stuff, Opie. You win again. Got him. Adam, you all right?
I blame the potato.
Seriously.
I think him and Opie are working against me somehow.
gotcha.
There's been a lot of problems ever since the potato showed up.
I noticed that.
I have one more clip, actually. I lied because you wanted to watch this one, Adam, that
so
cropped
glad.
up on a subreddit.
It's my favorite. It's the best Opie clip I've ever seen. Just as an actor, if you were asked to make this turn from like absolute elation to total despair, you'd be like, wow, this is tough for any human being to go through. And he does it so effortlessly. It's so enjoyable.
This is live at Gebhard's.
I like that. Let's end with that.
Yeehaw! America! Fuck yeah! Suck my balls!
Make America Opie again.
Yeah!
Oh,
Make
wait,
America Opie! We need a hat. We need that hat.
We need a hat.
Make America... Wait, so it's
I got a short guy.
Make America be
Is it
again.
Nago?
No, it's
Make America...
No, it's Maho.
No, make America...
Maho back. It's Maho. It's Maho.
No, Moke.
I'm not. No, it's not Moke.
No, the P is in the middle of
Oh my God, I gotta go. Hit the light. Wait, we didn't. No one
quit.
Wait, no one hit the light.
What? Nobody likes us?
Last one.
They
This is
don't
the
like
last
you.
one we ever
That's the
do.
problem.
This is the last one we ever do.
Bye.
That's it.
At least America loves Opie.
Yeah, we should end it with that. All right, bye. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm taking over the world, baby! 2025 is the year of the Opster. Let's go! Oh, no one likes this?
We're done.
All right.
Pack it in. Pack it up.
That's
I'm
enough.
going home. That's it.
He's in a basement. Takes longer for the likes to get downstairs.
Oh, that's probably true. And that's why Cardiff will be on Opie Radio Friday morning.
And two.
Tune in. And Tukey. That's very exciting. You guys aren't bringing Corn Dip, the guy who brought you to the dance? You're not bringing him
Fuck corn
with?
dip.
Wow, you heard it here,
Yeah,
folks.
you heard it here first. The beef
Fuck.
has begun.
Corn Diff. I actually have, this is a fun little clip from Opie and Anthony back in the day. Evan Harris sent this in. This is Opie predicting what would happen in the future. And of course, what he's talking about here is, let's just end this show. We've done enough. And I think it's time to end Opie and Anthony, a common thing that he would bring up on the show.
In the next 2 years.
I'm hoping they hire me by September.
2 more years, and then we do other things.
I don't want to do that thing. I can
And
do
we'll do
both.
his political talk, and I'll start spinning
That's what I
twofers
figured
again.
I'll do.
I'm going to spin twofers again. You do the political
I'll
talk.
do political talk with a twist.
That's
We
right.
really have to put an end to this. I say 2 more. That's it.
2 more.
Yes, before I'm 40.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
You are.
No, I'm 27.
Good stuff. So, yeah,
Out of the 80s.
he predicted, yes, he always had to pretend he was younger than he was. So he did predict, you just heard it, that once they left Opie and Anthony would go on to do political talk. And that was correct.
And he,
Nailed it.
Who are these podcasts? WATP.